started working for the Legion in 1994, and why I started working, I was just retiring from the Canadian Forces after 28 years of service to them, and this particular position was open. The Legion is involved in the care of veterans and the remembrance of those who have served, and we've been involved in that for 86 years. We look after all the remembrance ceremonies nationally, and we have about 1,500 branches across the from coast to coast, and we have some branches in the United States, and we have about 5 branches in Europe.
Before the war, I knew there was a Legion there, and an Army and Navy, and I wasn't a member, but I used to go in anyway. You could be taken in by your father or somebody else. So they had the Legion and the Army and Navy, and they still had them in Vancouver. They were all over the place.
The one we chose to honor Smokey Smith with travels all over Canada and will, starting next year, even travel in the United States. By naming this car Ernest Smokey Smith BC, we found a unique and enduring way to honor this true Canadian hero.
Second Vice President of Branch 177, Mount Pleasant, Legion. And I'm a Legion member for 50 years. And I hold the palm leaf, which is the highest honor in the Legion. I was in the British Army during the war, ATF, and I married a Canadian in 1946. I came to Canada in September 1946, and I married a Canadian soldier.
Mount Pleasant Legion, and she joins us each year to help us to bring a bit of formality to our assembly, and each year she has a small presentation. I'd like to invite her up now.
We first got our letters patent, but by 1946, we kept pushing for it. We had an Act of Parliament, which is our Constitution, and the rest of the people don't have an Act of Parliament. When the Legion was first formed, you had to be a World War I veteran to join, okay? And now we've got, police can join. You know, if you served in the military, you can join the Legion, okay? That, it wasn't always the case. The World War I vets didn't like the World War II vets, and the World War II vets didn't like the Korea vets, and so forth and so on. And the Legion didn't like the Korean vets for a couple of years.
I was invited to the Royal Canada Legion 177. Let's see, I'm a 28 years member, so 28 years ago I was invited. I said, I'm not the Canadian Army, I'm Korean. Oh, we invite you, we are honored to invite you. As you know, we are under the Japanese, so we have to make a power. I need more power. I'm very strong man. So that's, I changed to the weightlifter. 6 days a week, that's very hard for me. 1 hour train every day. Sunday go to church.
Everybody went to the Legion. In fact, you could say one time they didn't, I don't know when they opened the beer parlors in Canada or in Vancouver, but it was a lot. The Legion was open before they were.
Once upon a time, a Legion branch was the only place where you could buy a beer, okay? But that's not the case anymore. The two main reasons for branches closing are demographics. People move away from smaller places, and I'll use Saskatchewan as an example. People move off the farm, and people move to more urban areas, and so they don't join the Legion like their father did.
The day after payday is not the time to relax. Stay on the job and give the Axis the axe.
But the Ladies Auxiliary were the ones that were there when we came home from overseas. They were there to come and help us and serve and help raise money for the Legion to help veterans. In them days, they didn't have the beer parlors and the bingo halls. They didn't. The Ladies Auxiliary used to put on bazaars and dances and rent their halls out for weddings, and they do the catering, and they make the money for the Legions to send the money to Ottawa to fight the government for the veterans' pensions and housing.
You know, at one time there were about 500,000. It was the largest organization in Canada. I don't know what it is now. It's way down, I know.
And it's not limited to the Legion. Everybody is finding it. The Elks Club, the Lions Club, the Moose Club, and the Knights of Columbus. When I came here in 1994, they had ordinary members, which is people like myself who had served. They had associate members who were people that were related, okay, and they had affiliate non-voting members. Those were people who were allowed into a branch, but they weren't allowed to vote. But since then, just about anybody can join a Legion, as long as the membership says okay. I think what we're going through is a natural cycle. Once upon a time, you had 1 million people in uniform in this country, and now you've got 80,000.
On that fateful day in 1944, Smoky Smith became the only Canadian private to be so honored, and his actions were so far above the ordinary as to inspire and sustain 6 decades of generations since.
It's your real car. You have the first drink.
Yes. Cheers.
Are you sharing?
Here's to the first today.
There we go.
Cheers.
10 young Canadians between the ages of 15 and 17 were among the delegation of 50 veterans, and of course Smokey. These young Canadians were so shy and so unknowing about how to interact with veterans. It was Smokey who rode in the back with the youth. It was Smokey who joked with them and made their apprehension disappear.
Over the years, the Legion has become more involved in the community, and its branches, as they are formed, get involved in the community. For instance, and I'll give you a good example, we buy medical equipment for hospitals through branches. We do Meals on Wheels. Any kind of sports endeavor, for instance, that our youth are involved in, is what the branches get involved in, okay? Branches raise money on their own, and they can spend money on their own with regards to the betterment of the community.
I never eat one penny, a penny from my country. I didn't get it. I live in Canadian pension only, and that's why this is not my house. I live there in the daughter's house. Daughter helped me for their food, not money, food. So I'm a very strict to use my money. Only I live there, Canadian money. I petition 3 or 4 times for the present, our present. Give me the money. This is my money. Why don't you give to me? Oh, we are not allowed to give you. By the law is prohibited.
The poppy funds can only be spent on veterans, okay? But if a branch has a dance, for instance, okay, and it raises a couple of $1,000s, okay, then that money can be spent anywhere in the community. When it comes to the Canadians who have sacrificed their lives, we remember them. When it comes to Canadians who have returned, we look after them with regards to pensions under the Pension Act, or most recently under the new Veterans Charter. And we will represent anybody who wants to get anything from the government for their service, especially if they're disabled. One of those things, it's a misconception that people go there to drink, because they don't. They go there to get involved.
Thank you all so much. And at this time, on behalf of Branch 177 of the Royal Canadian Legion, I would like to present Mrs. Sandu. We have a new book this year for your library. It's called For Doc, and it's a very good book. I won't tell you what it's about, but you have to read it to understand it. It's a gorgeous book. The book, and then we have a check here for $406. That amounts to $2 per student. And every year we do this, and it's with great pleasure that we do it to keep things going at Kenley Carr School. And as I say, God willing, I hope I'll be back next year. And thank you all so very much for inviting me.
Got it. Cheers.
Canadian Legion does not emphasised, it doesn't get the publicity out. People who said to me, oh, the Canadian Legion, it's just a place to go and for people to get drunk. I said, well, if they don't get drunk, I said, they do a lot of things. They help in all kinds of ways in the communities, and it's not just sports things, it's also with being there and the reaching out, the personal things.
The sports thing is very interesting for the Royal Canadian Legion. It started out in Ontario Hydro Branch, and back about 51, 52 years ago. And they decided that what was really needed for the youth of this country was strong minds and strong bodies. Over a period of time, that has morphed into an annual event held by the Legion.
The Confederation House Park, and also the Little League, the baseball, we help them. Every year I used to go there. And also the hockey winter season, we help them too.
So this year we had over 810 athletes compete right here in Ottawa. If we go back quite a few years, you will find that Harry Jerome was involved in the program. You'll find some of the top coaches in this country were involved in the program. And it took a little while to get off the ground. Okay, it faded for a while, then it came back. It faded because the government didn't want to help fund it. So we fund everything right now, strictly by ourselves. A lot of our alumni have gone on to win world championships and Olympic medals. And in fact, at the Los Angeles Olympics, every medal winner was a Legion alumnus in track and field.
And I'm a pioneer of the bodybuilding in my country. So I was chief of the section of the bodybuilding section. And now I came here, they always bodybuilding trained because of the easy to train for the senior citizen.
I volunteer at Brock Farney, Veterans Hospital, and I come here and I volunteer on the drop-in centre on a Monday, and we play darts on a Wednesday, and I help out wherever I can with our branch. And I'm also a volunteer at the Army, Navy and Air Force Veterans of Canada, or do you want that?
A lot of the branches, about 75% of them, have liquor licenses, so they will raise some money that way. They also have the facilities that they will rent out, and they'll raise some money that way. They have special fundraisers, special fundraising events that'll help raise money. That money that they raise, then they can spend as they so desire.
The family has benefited a lot. I also got, along with the pension, I also got help with my children's schooling.
Don't forget, and don't mix it up with the poppy money, because poppy money can only be spent on the veterans.
Because it is the courage of Smokey, and more generally of his generation, that gave us all the freedoms which we currently enjoy, and which made it unlikely for the vast majority of Canadians that we would have to have our courage tested in the way that Smokey's courage was tested.
Jerry brought a band out to cheer us on our way, showed us the sights and gave us tea. We all sang songs, the beer was free, but we're the D-Day Dodgers out in Italy.
Now, torrential rain caused the Savio River to rise rapidly, making it impossible for tanks or anti-tank guns to cross and support the rifle companies. As C Company consolidated its position, it was counterattacked by 3 Mark V Panther tanks. supported by 2 self-propelled guns and about 30 infantry. The situation appeared hopeless. Under heavy fire from the approaching tanks, Private Smith, showing great initiative and inspiring leadership, led his Piat team of 2 men across an open field to a position from which the anti-tank gun could be best employed. Leaving 1 man on the weapon, Smokey crossed the road with another soldier and picked up the second Piat. Almost immediately, an enemy tank came down the road firing its machine guns down the ditches and the side verges.
United States troops were landed at Busan to carry out the instructions of the Security Council and to help the Korean Republic defend itself against the communist invader.
I was a commanding general of the Seoul area for the coup d'etat. No, I don't work. I'm an army man. We are army men. Take to the army life, not to political, not to any other. Coup d'etat no good. Because look at the Japan, the German, they destroyed, and I don't want. So I against it. That's why I was put in jail. I was sentenced in the court. I was sentenced to death, 2 years, sentenced death. But to the all opinion, all newspaper, all opinions, all Colonel Park is a real army man. Don't kill him. That's why I was, and also the American advisor, don't kill him.
Private Smith's comrade was wounded. In a range about 30 feet, and having to expose himself to full view of the enemy, Private Smith fired his machine gun at the German infantry. And 10 German infantry immediately jumped off the back of the tank and charged him with Schmeissers and grenades. Without hesitation, Private Smith moved onto the road, firing his Tommy gun at point-blank range. He killed 4 of the enemy, drive the remainder back. Almost immediately, another Panther opened fire, and more infantry closed in on his position. Smokey never wavered. He obtained more ammunition from a wounded comrade and steadfastly held his position, protecting the soldier and fighting the enemy with his Tommy gun until finally they gave up and withdrew in disorder. 1 tank and both self-propelled guns had been destroyed, but another tank, the Mark V, swept the area with fire. Private Smith, still showing utter contempt for the enemy fire, helped his wounded comrade to cover and obtain medical aid for him. He then returned to his position beside the road to wait a further enemy attack, but none came, and the battalion was able to consolidate the bridgehead position.
If you look round the mountains in the mud and rain, you'll find the scattered crosses, some which bear no name. Heartbreak and toil and suffering gone, the lads beneath them slumber on, for they were the D-Day Dodgers who'll stay in Italy.
This is Peter Thornburg of the BBC reporting from the Italian front.
What we have done since 2000 is redefined what is a veteran in Canada. A veteran used to be Korea, World War II, but we say now anybody who has served is a veteran. It's time for us to get smart about how we market the Legion and be more efficient, try to save some money.
There's not enough people in the Army or the reserves to keep the Legion up to scratch, so they should change their ways and get associate members and stuff like this. But a lot of people don't buy it, They figure you should be a veteran, but there's no veterans left.
It's been said before that there isn't a person in Canada that has not been touched in some way by the Royal Canadian Legion.